hey, and welcome to Tootie Talk Sense, and I am Tootie. So, welcome everyone. Thank you all, the new subscribers, and if you haven't already, subscribe and like the video and comment so we can talk back and forth, so I can know y'all opinion, y'all can know mine. So, I'm gonna do this Murdaugh um, murder special that's on Netflix. I just want to give my opinion about it. I watched the Netflix special, then I also watched I watched some of the trial. Now, everybody who's been following, you already know that he's been found guilty. And I know they gave him 2 life sentences, but whatever else behind that don't even matter because 2 life sentences is enough. You ain't getting out. That's it. And they also was looking up to um, charge him with, well, not necessarily charge him, but they looking into another murder that they had ruled as an accident, a hit and run, and that happened on their property, but they never found out who did the hit and run. So that got brought up also in this special. There's also I want to say ABC, it's on YouTube, but ABC special that covers this, that gives more details about the maid and about the hit and run victim. So I watched that also. So I may drop some information in there that wasn't on this Netflix special, but that's because uh, there's more information on the ABC News special. So let me just start off by saying, now I watched this special a couple weeks ago. I just haven't had time to do this review, this commentary about the Netflix special. But I watched it a couple of weeks ago. I wrote everything down, so hopefully I won't get lost in, me, my ADHD be everywhere. So hopefully I can get this in, knock it out, and not much time. So I would just want to start off my unpopular opinion now. This haven't been said. This is my personal opinion. My unpopular opinion is I believe that the daddy had a relationship with Alex, who's the hit and run victim. He's a gay teenager, and this was his sexuality was talked about because I believe it's his mom and his sister that did the interview on ABC. That's on the ABC YouTube special that I was just mentioning. So they did one. They said that he was, he was out. He was proud. Now, in the Netflix documentary, they were saying that they believe that the one of the brothers, not the one who's no longer here, but he has an older brother. That the rumor around the high school was that the older brother had a relationship with him. He's going to come out with a relationship, and him and the older brother is the one who unalived him, because they said there's certain words you can't say on YouTube. So the older brother is the one who unalived him. So, and I need to stop saying so. I know. The older brother is the one who unalived them, is the rumor that the town have going on. My unpopular opinion now is that I believe it was the daddy. Now, I know there's feminine men out there that don't necessarily mean that they're gay. I'm saying that man, Alex, was feminine, and I believe he's gay. Now, it ain't up to me to call out his sexual preferences, but he's very feminine to me. He reminded me of the Todd Christie. That's his mannerism. That was his voice. I'm like this the married man with the 2 kids that took the stand. Even that the 911 call, I figured the voice was high because of stress, anxiety. You just finding your wife and your son unalive. That your voice will be raised because it's the stress and everything. But then when I seen him on the stand and everything, I said, "No, that's his voice. That's his voice. It sounds like this. It sounds like mine." So that's just my unpopular opinion, y'all. That haven't came out anything, because if he now, I ain't saying y'all believe, but he already been found guilty of the wife and the son. Yeah, some people just start off with and go with the family and just do that, but I don't think that's what he started off at. Especially the way the trial went, that this stuff was planned. Baby, so you don't think he had no experience before this? And what happened with the maid, y'all? But let me get into it. So the doc started off with Mallory. That's the girl that the son was on trial for, because he was driving the boat, and she ended up getting hit off the boat, and they couldn't find her, and they found her drowned because she had hit her head and drowned. And the son them tried to blame it on a friend. So the documentary start off talking about Mallory. When they show pictures of her growing up, they go to her best friend Miley. They've been friends since kindergarten. Then they go to the other best friend is Morgan. She became friends with them later, and she was Paul. She was Paul Murdaugh's girlfriend. Now that's the one who's unalive, who they feel like Alex killed him in the mouth. So Mallory was dating Anthony, who was best friends with Paul. And man, Mallory is the one who didn't get back on the boat that they found who drowned. That's Mallory. She was dating Anthony. Anthony is Paul, the one who the daddy unalive, best friends. Miley was dating Connor, who is Anthony's first cousin. So they go into Paul was the black sheep of the family. He was raised by the maid since he was 2. And then I noticed in that trial, nobody really talked about that mama either. This first time I heard about this mama. And then when they was talking about it, I said, oh, I see why. Because you don't want people to be unsympathetic towards the victim. And seemed like that mama was something else. So Paul was the black sheep of the family. He was raised by the maid since he was 2. He was close to the maid and his granddaddy. The maid told Paul's girlfriend to love him from afar. People knew he was drinking to cover something up, but no one knew what he was drinking to cover up. Paul had became, very bad into alcohol. The mother preferred the oldest son because he went to law school, he joined frats, he wanted to be a solicitor in a family business just like their dad. They show younger pictures of Paul, and there's a blankness in his eyes. When they show the younger pictures of Paul, he like Paul and his girlfriend, it was just like his eyes are just blank. And then I'm thinking maybe he was drunk. But the girlfriend talked to the mom. The girlfriend talked to the mom about his drinking, but they believe that drinking, they didn't want to put him in a rehab because it would be a stain on the family name. Paul was mental and physically abusive to his girlfriend when he got drunk. The girlfriend came from a working family. She enjoyed the benefit of being with Paul. She said when it was good, he was really good, but when he drank, he was really bad. But he would do anything to make up for it. So that's what I'm saying. What I took from that, she enjoyed the benefits of the gifts and things. Like, yeah, she didn't like him when he was drinking, but he'll do like a regular domestic abusive relationship, especially if the man has money. I don't know. I'm assuming the same will go for the woman in reverse. If the woman have money, whoever is the abuser in the relationship, you abuse, and then you back gifts and stuff for forgiveness. And then the person is usually, sometimes they get caught up in getting the material things. So he said one day before the night of Mallory accident, Paul and Miley was out. She tried to drive home. This wasn't one day. This was a night. This was before Mallory, before the girl get off the boat. Well, Paul crashed the boat and the girl drowns. So the girlfriend, who was Miley, said one night her and Paul was out. And she tried to drive home because Paul had been drinking too much. And Paul refused to let her drive home, grabbed the keys out her car, told her, no, I'm finna drive home. You not finna drive. Just being controlling. So he ended up, initially everything was good. Then she said he started driving too fast. He swerved. They winded up in the ditch. She get her phone to call 911. He grabbed the phone out her hand and ended up getting mad at her because she calling 911. He called his granddaddy and his dad. The granddaddy and dad came to get them. When they got there, they get mad at the girl because the girl, her name Miley, they get mad at Miley because they asked her, did you call 911? She said, yeah. They like, why did you do that? You could have really got Paul in trouble. And I'm like, look at that. They take no responsibility for Paul's actions. If he would have got locked up then for drinking and driving, it could have saved Mallory, the one who ended up losing her life because he was drinking and driving on a boat. But okay, so she said she don't know what ended up happening. She said nothing never happened when Paul did stuff. His granddaddy would just make things disappear. The girlfriend said that Paul was really close to his granddad. Anytime he got in trouble, he would call his granddad first and then call his dad, and it would disappear. But she didn't say any incidents besides the car. She told the story about the car, and she said they would make things disappear, but she didn't say what else they had made disappear. She said that the parents are the ones who provided the alcohol. So they talk about how they go to all these events because, of course, the dad came from this long time family in this town, small town, that the parents, the grandparents, and generations have been solicitors in that town for a long time. So they know the police, they know the judge, they name hold power in that town, and they will always have parties or be going to parties, and they would allow their kids to drink and the kids' friends to drink. And I guess it seems like when they wasn't at parties, they'll be at the house drinking, and parents will provide drinks for the teenagers. So the night of the accident, Miley, who's Paul's girlfriend, had broken up with Paul, but they all went to the party together. They broke up because of Paul drinking. So they drive the boat to this oyster party. That's what they call it, y'all. I don't eat oysters. Ain't never been to no oyster party, but that's what they call it. There must be some rich people shit, because never heard of it. Or people down that lives more closer to the sea where you could just go and get it and put it on fire, because that's what the pictures that they shown is like a bonfire with a bunch of oysters. So they get to the first party, and Paul is drinking beer through a funnel. Everybody's ready to go home, but Paul and Connor wants to go to another bar. Paul and Connor go to another bar, and the other friends stay outside just waiting on them. They argue with him about taking the boat. Everybody else argued with Paul about taking the boat. He made his girlfriend cry and slapped her. So everybody's just like, let him drive. Come on, he acting a fool. He drunk again. Let him drive so he can just get us home. Mallory boyfriend stayed on the scene, and so that's when the accident happened. So what happened is Mallory ended up getting through from the boat because Paul crashed into a part on the bridge. Mallory, everybody else get taken off to the hospital. Mallory boyfriend had been jumping in the lake trying to find her before they even called the police. They called the police. Police get there. Mallory boyfriend refused to go to the hospital. He stayed on the scene to look for her. So 2 nurses come in and told Miley and her mom that Paul is a nasty drunk, and as a mom, she needs to keep her daughter away from Paul. So Connor parents get called about Connor, and 10 minutes later, the Murdaugh, the dad and the grandfather, are calling saying they will protect Connor since he was driving a boat and Mallory is missing. So at this time, Alex, who's the one who just got convicted, and his dad have since passed, got called to the hospital. The police them know who Paul is. So they get called to the hospital, and so they at the hospital, and everybody did not already told them that Paul was the one driving the boat. The dad them get there trying to intervene and going to the other kids' room and everything, trying to get them to change the story that Connor was driving. So by the time the police then called Connor parents to tell them about what was going on, 10 minutes later, the Murdaughs is already calling them, talking about, don't worry about it, we're going to protect Connor, when Paul is the one who's driving. So Alex is at the hospital telling Connor to be quiet. He got him. Randolph and Alex is at hospital talking to the law enforcement. Randolph is the granddad. They are talking to the law enforcement. Connor parents get to the hospital, and Alex and Randolph say he was named as the driver. Miley is having surgery on her hand, and Alex tells them he needs to be in the room because he's her legal guardian, and her parents ain't there. But Miley tells them to please keep that man out of my room. So he tried to interfere and get in the room with Miley like I'm her legal guardian. But she had already experienced that last accident with Paul, and she was like, no, keep him out of my room. Do not let that man in here. He's not my legal guardian. So one day later, they still looking for Mallory. They had it taped off, wouldn't let her mom is out there trying to go through. They wouldn't let her mom go through to where the boat was at that Paul was driving, when she would miss it. Officer told her that they was giving strict orders. No one would pass that point. And moments later, Alex and his wife drove right up to the scene. Alex's brother, John, came and told the boat. Remember, Alex is the father of Paul. Paul was driving. Alex is the one who was recently convicted. His brother came, told the boat that the accident happened near. So 3 days later, the news report is saying one or two boys was driving when everybody know Paul was the one driving. So Connor dad went to the school with Alex. Alex called to meet up with Connor dad. Alex called Connor dad to meet up with them so they can, get the story together. So they said 5 days after the accident, people was wondering, like, the girl, she still wasn't Mallory. She still wasn't found. So people was like, well, why they didn't bring her Apple Watch? She had on an Apple Watch when she fell out. People believe that they did not want her body to be found because if it's no body, it's no crime. 7 days after the crash, that's when they found Mallory. So Mal mama hired the attorney because she grew up with the Murdaughs and she knew her daughter's death would be covered up. The attorney came in first, needed to prove that who was driving the boat that night. So they got a video of Paul using his brother Buster's ID. Now Buster is Paul's older brother. Man, that's the one who they saying had something to do with the hit and run, the gay boy who was found on their property unalive. So that's who Buster is. Paul ain't even 21 yet. He's using his older brother Buster ID. But if the whole time, I mean, they all do look alike. They all got their red hair and pale, kind of like the same height, kind of like the same weight. So I guess so. But if you from that town, unless they going to town over, everybody I know y'all. So how you using a fake ID to buy liquor? But he used the fake ID to buy liquor. Paul knew it would be traffic stops, so that's why they took the boat. Paul funnels, when they said they got there, Paul was following two natural light beers. Paul called father, who didn't answer, then his mother, and they had a 5-minute conversation. Paul blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. Paul wouldn't let anyone drive. He spit on Morgan, slapped her, and threw boat in overdrive. The boat hit the bridge, and that's how they crashed. They crashed on rocks on the bridge. So 20 law officers came, and no one questioned Paul. Michael Brock was the lead investigator for the first 24 hours. He was close to Anthony. He was close to Alex. Anthony told Michael that Paul killed my girlfriend, but audio is not in evidence. So, when he first get there, he tells him Anthony is Mallory's boyfriend. He's mad. He's mad at Paul. He was going off at Paul out there that night on the scene about what did you do? What did you do? You over here laughing. You think it's funny. My girlfriend is missing. So the lead investigator for the first 20 hours was the guy named Michael. Michael was close to the father, Alex. So somehow Anthony telling him that Paul was the one who unalived my girlfriend, and somehow that part is missing. Michael Paul Thomas was close to Paul's girlfriend. Said she had got Paul out of so much trouble before. He was Alex Murdaugh. Okay, so Michael Paul Thomas, that's another guy. That's another investigator. He said he had got Alex out of so much trouble. He had got Paul. So Miley had said this about Michael. So Michael's one of the investigators. She knew him because she was Paul's girlfriend. And so she said that he's really close to his dad. And they call him the dad B, the dad bitch. And they call Michael the dad bitch, who was also one of the investigators there. The night of the crash and days after, Michael, Thomas, and John made numerous phone calls. They called the Austin preacher office at the hospital to interview kids. Was called by John. Phone records show the investigator kept in touch with the Murdaughs, but not one single phone call was made to Mallory's parents, which is the girl who was missing. But they calling the Murdaugh all this time. They told Alex's parents not to make calls until they know for sure. Because when the accident happened, they were like, hey, have y'all called Mallory's parents? She's missing. Have y'all called Mallory's parents? They're like, no, because we don't want to upset them. So we ain't going to call them right now. So even the night of, when they know this girl is missing and they out there searching for her, they didn't call Mallory. They called Alex them, but they didn't call Mallory's parents. The attorney the attorney hired someone to reconstruct the scene, and Connor couldn't have been driving the boat due to where his injuries are correspond to the damage on the boat. So Connor injuries, he had hit his head or something he had hit, but it was on the passenger side where he had impacted the boat. Alex and Mallory was thrown from the boat. Alex and Mallory and Miley was thrown off the boat. So that just leave Paul in the boat. So you can't say Connor was driving. Mallory was thrown off the boat, hit her head, and drowned. Paul was charged 3 months later. 1 count of DUI, boating under the influence, 2 counts of BUI. 1 count of DUI, driving under the influence, and 2 counts of BUI, which is boating under the influence with great bodily damage. So, yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to stop here, okay? Because we got a little bit more to talk about, which was what happened with Paul when he did get arrested, and more people just talking about the housemaid and the teenage boy who was found on the property. So hopefully I'll be able to come back and finish this after work and get this done today, because it looks like there's going to be more stuff to come up, because I want to say today, I heard it today, I don't know when it was done, but the family gave the courts permission to exhume the body of the victim who was found on the lawn. So I said they're probably going to find something there, because everybody was already saying that this victim it did not look like a hit and run. They tried to write it up as a hit and run, but he died from blunt force trauma to the head. So it seemed like somebody probably beat him to death or hit him with something in the head, because all his trauma was up top. If he would have got hit by a car, like his legs would have been broken, some trauma to the pelvis or the stomach region or something, but it wasn't that. So I'm gonna finish up from the documentary later tonight. So it's gonna be a part 2 to this, because I don't have time to finish it right now, because I got to run, got to go. But I'm gonna come back and finish up with that. And then if there's any updates from there, then hopefully I'll remember to come and do an update, y'all. So I'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for tuning in. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also share if you care, y'all. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.